Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Berryjuicysweet Dishes. And if this is your first time, please hit that like button and also that bell right beside. And to all my returning viewers, welcome back. And to everyone, all positive vibes. Well, today I will be making a cheeseburger corn dog. Let me show you how. Let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to take a pike of thick bacon. You want it to be thick bacon and not the original thin cut bacon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bacon sheet and then I'm going to line it with my parchment paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my bacon on this parchment paper. I'm going to use about 5 or 6 pieces, okay? And then I'm going to put it in my preheated oven, 350 degrees. I'm going to bake this for 20 to 25 minutes or until the bacon is caramelized. Baking your bacon versus frying it in a pan. Bacon keeps your bacon soft but crispy. And baking your bacon, it also keeps the original size, the length of the bacon, even after it cooks. All right, so we're gonna cut our bacon up into about 1-inch thick pieces. All right, so we're going to set our bacon to the side. All right, so what I'm going to use is 1 pound of ground beef. So I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of some garlic powder. I'm going to also add about a 1/2 teaspoon of some onion powder. Next, I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of some black pepper. And then I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of some salt. Next, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon, and this is optional, of some caramelized onion burger seasoning. And then I am going to stir this up well. So once my ground beef is ready, I'm going to go ahead and drain that excess fat off of it, and then I'm going to set it to the side. So once my ground beef has cooled down, I'm going to go ahead and add about 1 cup of some sharp cheddar cheese. I'm going to also add that bacon that we chopped and cut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all this up together well. Until it's all combined. So once I have everything mixed together well and well combined, I am going to separate this into like 8 sections or portions, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape each small portion into like a small log or a small oval shape. All right, so I'm going to take my cookie sheet, and what I'm going to do with my cookie sheet is I'm going to take some saran wrap. And I'm going to tear a piece of this saran wrap. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape this corn dog. Into an oval shape or log, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it so it keeps its form. All right, now I'm going to continue until all of my mixture has been used up. And I'm going to also make sure that I twist the ends of each side just to lock this shape in. So once I finish wrapping up my corn dogs into the shape of an oval or a log, and I wrap them in saran wrap just to hold that shape. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these logs in the refrigerator for at least 10 minutes. So this way it can firm up. And this helps hold the shape of my corn dog. So once my corn dogs have sat, I'm going to take some skewers and I'm going to insert them into the bottom of my corn dog, or either on one end of the corn dog. In here, I'm just making sure that I have the perfect shape of that shape of the corn dog that I desire. Making sure that if any pieces have fallen apart, I'm just putting them back together again. And because of the shape of my corn dogs, I was able to get about 4 large corn dogs out of that mixture. However, if I would have went with a smaller size corn dogs, I would have been able to get about 8 small size corn dogs, which was my intended portion amount, but I decided to have larger size corn dogs. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and make that base for my corn dog. I'm going to start off with using 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Next, I'm going to use 1 cup of some cornmeal. You can use any cornmeal. I'm going to use yellow cornmeal. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of some stevia sugar. You can use any sweetener you prefer. I'm going to go ahead and use stevia. Next, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of some baking powder. Next, I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of some baking soda. Next, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then I am going to give this a stir until it's mixed together well. Once I mix this up together well, I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. So in another bowl, I'm going to take 1 egg, then I'm going to take 1 cup of buttermilk, and I'm going to whisk these two until they are nice and smooth, are well combined. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and I am going to preheat my oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take my wet ingredients and I'm going to pour it into my dry ingredients until it's nice and smooth and creamy, till it forms up to a batter. So my batter is not that smooth consistency that I want, so I'm going to go ahead and add another 1/2 cup of the buttermilk to make it smooth and creamy in the consistency that I want. So if your batter is too thick and it constantly tear up your corn dog, what you want to do is just add about 1/2 cup more of the buttermilk to thin out that batter, to make it a little bit more thinner and easier to scoop up on top of your corn dog. So you could dip your corn dog, or you can wear some gloves and make it easier just by spooning it on top of your corn dog. And as you can see, my corn dog is still intact by me doing it this way. So now what I'm going to do is take it and set it on a plate until I have all of my corn dogs battered. All right, now, so once my grease have heated up, I'm going to go ahead and take those corn dogs and I'm going to line it up. You want to be careful that you put it the long way so they will stay intact. All right, I'm able to get 3 on there. Let's go ahead and drop it down in the grease and let's cook it for about 5 minutes or until they're golden and brown. My corn dogs are looking about ready. Let's go ahead and plate it up on a paper towel lined plate so we can drain all of the excess oil off of it. So now that my corn dogs are ready, I had one to break open so I can show you how it looks from the inside. So I'm going to take some parsley and just sprinkle it across my corn dogs to garnish. I'm going to also take some sliced dill pickles as well. You can add any topping that you want to your corn dogs. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle some buffalo sauce across the top of. And then you can use your favorite dipping sauce with this. You can use some ketchup, some ranch, any kind of dipping sauce. So you can serve these corn dogs with sides like any vegetables you want, fries, whatever your desire is. So I wanted to show you how it looks on the inside. All right. I'm going to dip it in some ketchup. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Don't forget to hit that like button and also share the video. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Well, bye for now.